This is Startup Series Latam, where we're about to take you on a journey through the dynamic world of Latin American entrepreneurship. In this show, we'll explore the stories of visionary founders and leading VCs who are transforming the region.
Building a startup is a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster of emotions. It's a mind game for entrepreneurs. It's a mind game for entrepreneurs. People go and succeed in businesses, and they talk about how amazing was it, okay? And that's not true. It's not amazing. It's tough as hell. From zero contacts to $7.5 million that we were able to raise already.
Welcome to Startup Series Latam, where we are inspiring líderes. And today we're thrilled to have Michele Edery, co-founder and CEO of smartBeemo's, an e-commerce digital marketing and education platform to help its users sell. smartBeemo's has over 100,000 users, half of which are US Latinos and the other half are in Latin America, servicing Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, y Peru. They employ around 600 people, mostly in Latam as well, and they've raised $6 million this year. Desde Cali, Colombia, bienvenido. ¿Cómo estás, Michele?
Good, thank you, gracias. Thank you for having me here. Super
Thank
happy.
you so much for being here. You were born and raised in Cali, as I mentioned. Do you remember when was the time you realized that you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Well, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Maybe I didn't have a time in my life where I thought I wasn't an entrepreneur.
Oh, really?
Yeah, since I was a kid. I mean, yeah, I come from a very entrepreneurial family. I'm Jewish. So as you know, Jewish people, we like to make businesses. So since I was a kid, basically, I was raised in the business environment. So I say I was always an entrepreneur.
Nobody's given me this answer of, I don't know when I wasn't an entrepreneur. So you were an entrepreneur from the womb.
Since I was, yeah.
What kinds of discussions happened at your dinner table that you may remember?
Well, we would talk about cash flows. We would talk about sales. Maybe I would have, I don't know, 10 years old.
So not what happened at the playground, but about cash flows.
Yeah, and I would understand about it, and I would like it. And it's very, I would say it's very cultural, you know, in families maybe. In my family, all my family has been an entrepreneur, So I think I was just raised entrepreneur. I didn't have an option. I always say it's like being born in the middle of the Everest, okay? So you have one way down or up. There's no way, I mean, you have to choose. So I was born there in the middle, so I would just, chose to move up. And then when I, get to the top, so what's next?
So tell me about the other startups that you launched before smartBeemo's and how that shaped your entrepreneurial journey.
So started Asylum Marketing is a marketing agency that we co-founded in 2008, and from Asylum, that's the marketing agency, we created smartBeemo's. That's the startup that we are raising today. So that happened 15 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
And smartBeemo's was born 2014, so it's about, 10 years almost.
Okay. So what does smartBeemo's do specifically, and how did it stem from Asylum Marketing?
Yeah, so basically we started helping companies, to do marketing, okay? So basically to generate demand, to sell in Latin America. And we discovered an opportunity on how to, work with those companies and help them with their marketing social media platforms, basically. So we started understanding what were the best moment, time, day, and topic, to post. And we created smartBeemo's. So smartBeemo's was a tool that would help companies optimize social media performance,
okay,
basically. So we started educating people so they could, buy that tool. And from an accident, we created smartBeemo's. That's the story in a nutshell.
So what does it do now, specifically?
So we basically educate Latinos on how to sell online. So basically how to launch and scale their e-commerce businesses. So we give them all the knowledge and all the tools So they, launch their businesses in Amazon. They launch their businesses in Mercado Libre, and they, start their own e-commerce stores.
And tell me why that is critical for a mass of people where the informal economy is the livelihood of many.
Yeah, because, people are looking for ways to make money, okay? And there's this whole entrepreneurship movement that we call e-commerce entrepreneurship. That is the opportunity of creating a business from scratch only using a computer. So basically, you can launch a store in Amazon, you can launch your store in Mercado Libre, you can launch a store doing Shopify and start selling, okay? So there's a huge opportunity for Latinos to just launch a store and start selling online. So that's what we basically help them. So we teach them, we give them the tools, we connect them with other entrepreneurs so they can, start their online stores.
And I mentioned it in the intro, your TAM right now includes US Latinos and Latin Americans. I think Latin Americans alone, I think it's 300 million people that engage in e-commerce.
More, I would say all our TAM is people who would like to make money online. So the TAM is huge, the TAM is amazing, People who'd like to just launch a store and start selling online, to just launch a store, start selling on Amazon. We have, more than 1,000 students a week joining the platform, to just learn and start doing e-commerce.
And it's mainly educational in terms of training them, or do you then also leverage data to see how they're doing and accompany them throughout the journey?
Yeah, so we use education as a form of conversion, basically. So we understand that education drives conversion. Education drives opportunity to, do stuff, to, buy products, okay, to buy other type of courses, to buy tools, okay? So what we do basically, we bring a lot of people to smartBeemo, we educate them, we teach them on how to start, and then we offer them a complete platform of solutions where they can, just go and opt in to any type of platform, start using that platform, research some products, and open an Amazon account and start selling. So what we basically do at smartBeemo is we take advantage of volume of people who would like to, make money, who would like to change their lives, who would like to, be independent, get, different revenue streams and start making money, learn how to do it from knowledge, from learning, okay? And then opting to different type of platforms and, so it's a nice platform, it's a nice ecosystem. And
it really represents the livelihood for many people, exactly what you've described.
Yeah, as I said, we call this e-commerce entrepreneurship. The whole idea of living from e-commerce, from just opening an Amazon store or a Shopify store to start selling online on Mercado Libre, to start doing drop shipping. There's an amazing opportunity, Mariana, for Latinos, for example, people who live in Colombia, okay, or people who live in Mexico, to only go to smartBeemo to research for, to first learn, because education is the first thing that we have to, tackle here. There's a huge gap. So education is the first thing that we have to tackle. And then research for products, understand where are the products that importers have imported, to Latin America, get those products without buying inventory, okay? And through the platform, start selling those products to other people. So the opportunities for people to, to just start a business without having to invest in inventory or without having to invest for, a brick and mortar, retail shop is great.
And especially because in Latin America, you have to kind of like grease so many hands to get your hands on the product, to see where you're going to sell it. There's a whole bureaucracy in place where people, if they don't know any better, they can truly get scammed.
Absolutely. We always say that it's so massive. The need. If you think about it, average Latin Americans, they make $4,800 a year, average. U.S. Hispanics, they make 26% less than Americans. So Latinos are always looking for new ways of making money.
26% less than white non-Hispanic Americans?
Exactly.
But it still represents, we Latinos in the US represent almost $3 trillion of GDP.
It's a huge community. It's a huge community.
So tell me about starting out in Latin America and now seizing this US Hispanic opportunity and truly seeing, Michele, which is, what you talk in these conferences about, and what I'm also preaching as well, is seeing the US Latino, Latin American, pan-regional opportunity that exists.
Yeah, and we actually see it as a whole Latino. You have more than 300 million people in Latin America. You have more than 50 million people in the US, Latinos in the US, and we see the whole Latino community as a whole Latino community. Okay, and it's a market that is actually growing. I mean, we always see problems as opportunities. Latin America, in the case of Latin America, I said we are maybe 10 years behind the US in terms of e-commerce, okay? So that's a huge opportunity for Latin American sellers, to start tackling on Mercado Libre or start doing drop shipping or start maybe selling in Amazon in the US.
Yeah.
And then you have the opportunity for people who live here, Latinos that live here in the States, that can take advantage of this huge economy. It's more than $6 trillion only in e-commerce here in the States. So they can take advantage. I mean, people are buying on Amazon every single day, every single hour.
Yeah.
So they can sell anywhere, any place without having to buy a huge amount of inventory. And so it's amazing.
And you've mentioned Mercado Libre, which is arguably one of the giants in the region, huge unicorn. It really set the tone for what can be done in terms of entrepreneurship in Latam. And instead of seeing them as competition, you actually forged an alliance with Mercado Libre.
We actually have a very important alliance with Mercado Libre.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we were able to have a very important alliance with them, where I would say is unique in the field, all right? Where they actually certified our program, and they actually helped us to create the program on how to help Latinos to sell anywhere, Mexico, in Buenos Aires, in Colombia, and they actually endorse our brand, and we are allowed to use Mercado Libre marketing materials, and then we co-created with Mercado Libre a very comprehensive and very well done program where we teach people on how to just buy a product and start selling online and start making money. So yeah, we work very close to Mercado Libre.
How important is it in a region where you also saw a sharp decline in venture capital funds after 2021 to have the stamp of approval of one of these big giants in the region?
Absolutely. I mean, important. I mean, Mercado Libre is I would say, I think it's the biggest unicorn in Latin America. Decacorn, I don't know what's the appropriate name. But the fact that we were able to, create this alliance with them, it gave us a lot of, confidence, because it wasn't easy, to get this deep partnership with them, but absolutely helped.
Tell me something that you've had to do to get an alliance, to get an investor. Is there any bold moves you had to make?
Well, it's interesting your question, because I come from a world where I'm used to do bootstrap businesses, okay? And it's not very common to see, I don't know if I'm wrong, maybe in the US, in Latin America, it's not very, very common to see Jewish people, raising money. Because normally Jewish people, we do business with our community, we, a lot of people in the retail segment, but in my case, well, I decided to take my business to another level. And when I started, I didn't have any contact in terms of fundraising, anything. So I come from creating a marketing agency. And if you know, marketing agencies are very financial type of businesses, and it's very cash flow. It's a lifestyle business, and very used to doing the bootstrap type of business. So decided for smartBeeMo to start raising money when we got to, I would say, a pretty solid 6-figure business. Wait, 7-figure business. And we decided to, after bootstrap the company, to start raising money. And we didn't have any contact, anything. So just sent 1, 2, 3, 5, 100 emails. The amount of emails necessary and calls necessary, to get that first appointment, and to start, getting to know people in the business. So you start talking to other entrepreneurs, to other businesses that has raised money, and they start, making those intros. And from 0 contacts to $7.5 million that we were able to raise already, and we are going to start chasing the Series B soon. It took me maybe, I don't know, more than, I would say, without exaggerating, more than 500 meetings, maybe one-on-one, just presenting, learning, pivoting the whole story until you get the right story, the right vision, the way to sell your vision, and then you're able to have one fund that believes in you. And once you have a fund that believes in you, then you're gonna find the second one, the third one. It's a tough, business to do, but it's amazing.
Any advice for people who are watching, listening to you now? When you get, 500 rejections, where do you get the determination and the grit to send the 501 email?
I say it this way. Every time someone tells you no, is a closer yes. It's just you're just moving closer. It's like selling. Every time you manage an objection, because everybody's gonna tell you no. That's what you have to expect. You need to expect that they're going to tell you no, and that's it. And managing that objection, and then going to the next lead and try to close that lead. That's the dance of the sales. That's the fun part. But that's the thing that people are not willing to do, because people only want to go and have success. It's not going to happen. So people need to expect a no. No. People need to expect 100 no's. And they just need to understand that every time you get a no, you're just getting closer to the yes. And never go to sleep thinking that you're not capable of doing it. Just don't go to sleep thinking that. And if you're gonna sleep now, think it twice, okay? You are capable of doing it. And it takes determination, Mariana. Determination. There's not a chance of not achieving what you want. There's just not a chance. That's the way I think, and that's the way I would encourage people to
think as well. Yeah. One of the founders that we interviewed, Francisco Cornejo, who has a product called Storybook app, he says that fundraising is a full-time job, and it's really hard to balance that. When you're making 500 calls, 1,000 calls, and to continue developing a superb product. So how do you strike that balance? What do you think you're particularly good at?
Yeah, but I think that in fundraising, I completely agree. Fundraising is 100%, it's a full-time job. So you have to spend 100% of your time, 100% of your time fundraising. So guess what, Mariana? Then now you have to spend 200% of your time for your business. There's no other chance. We sign up for this. People go and succeed in businesses, and they talk about how amazing was it, okay? And that's not true. It's not amazing. It's tough as hell. But you're gonna find the joy after you achieve something. You're gonna find the joy there. Obviously, you have to find the joy in the process and whatever. I agree. You have to love what you do. I agree. But it's gonna be tough, and you sign up for that, And building a startup is a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster of emotions. It's a mind game for entrepreneurs. And it's true when people say that startups are typically binary type of businesses. I mean, the risk is high. Why? Because you're willing to grow the hell out of that business, okay? Because you need to grow in order to raise more money, and you need to grow in order to achieve the big vision, and obviously to make your investors happy and make your final customer happy and create your vision, make it true, you know? So that when you have a company that you have to grow hard and keep on pushing hard, then it becomes very risky, okay? Because you need to make tough decisions, tough choices. And that's the main difference between the lifestyle business, where you just, you know, grow 10% a year or 15% a year and just do one thing at a time. When you are creating a startup, you cannot do that. You have to go for everything. Go and achieve that, you know, and with determination. Just, you're not gonna fail. You have to do it with the determination, but that makes the business risky. And when the business is risky, then it's a mind game, okay? Because in my mind, there's no way of fail, you know? In my mind, there's no way, okay? But the reality is that you're running 100 miles per hour in a super thin canyon, you know, where you can fall. So it's a mind game. It's
Have you fallen?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, people only know the beautiful story, you know?
I mean, I see your Instagram page, and it's the
Everything is,
you know,
nice.
beautiful photos and Forbes headline of, you know, the 6-7 figures you've raised, but you're telling us about real life, day in, day out.
Yeah. Well, I would say successful businesses. You know, the agency is pretty successful, I would say. Is a big agency. It generates very good cash and income. And then we have a smartBeeMo that's growing, and I would consider that is being successful because at the end of the day, we're achieving a higher purpose and goals. But I'm 40, just turned 40 6 months ago. And I would say I would maybe fail, I don't know, 100 times before getting where I am. And I keep failing. I mean, and in the business, in smartBeeMo, we always, you know, make good choices, good decisions, and we'll always screw, you know? We just had a very important experiment, I would call it, where we invested a lot of money, and we created an office in Colombia to go into the downtown of Colombia and help you know, those brick and mortar stores to sell online, and that was a failure. That was a huge failure. Obviously, I don't see it as a failure. It was just part of the process. We had to do it. We had to learn, and we had to burn some cash there. But it was a failure, and we got very stressed about it. But it's just part of the process, you know. And yeah, we had a lot of fails in the process.
Thank you for sharing that. That's very courageous of you.
Thank you.
You are a very authentic founder. I see that come through during this interview. It also comes through your robust online presence. You actually have a bigger Instagram following than I do. So you've invested a lot in building your image as a founder. How important is that when you want to create that hype and that buzz around your company, and honestly also that trust in what smartBeeMo is through your figure?
I mean, we started bootstrap smartBeeMo, and the way we leverage my personal brand in order to give trust to final customer, and we created bootstrap basically. So if you're going to start a business bootstrap, maybe it's a good idea to start building it with your personal brand, because it's going to accelerate conversion. As simple as that. It's going to accelerate conversion. Why? Because people trust more on people than on brands, basically. But it can become something difficult for the future, because you cannot let the company to rely only on one specific funnel of conversion that's your personal brand, and you cannot become the main face of your business if you're going to raise money, because if you're not there then what's going to happen?
Right.
And also, when you're growing and at a very accelerated pace, then you start being dependent on that specific factor of being the personal brand of or the image of the.
But you think it's helped in the case
at
of
the
you
beginning,
and smartBeemo?
only at the beginning. But I would think it twice. If your plan is to raise money, I would think it twice. If I would give you an advice of creating a commercial brand around a personal brand. I don't think I would do it if I knew that I would raise money. And yes, I do have an important and robust social media, but I would say I'm a little bit, I don't know if I should say this.
Dilo.
But me siento un poco encartado, because the business is in a place where it's just not necessary anymore.
Right.
And I want to be able to build a business where it's not dependent on a personal brand. So,
do you think it's something you'll be able to walk away from, or that?
No. I mean, no. And I think that we're in a point where it's not that relevant.
Right.
But maybe, and that's the way I think, when we become a unicorn or a huge company which we're chasing, to grow and stuff, maybe that can, take a good place in that moment. Maybe we can again leverage personal
your
brand
presence.
Yeah.
Tell me about the name smartBeemo. Every great startup begins with a story of a great name. What does the name mean?
So as I said, smartBeemo was an accident. So we created smartBeemo from the agency, from a tool that used to optimize social media performance for our clients, and smartBeemo means Smart Behavioral Metrics Optimization. So the tool used to help companies to optimize their social media performance, and then it pivoted to education in 2016, and we decided to keep the name because we were able to create a whole community around this idea, and as a lot of companies that didn't plan the whole name.
But you added the other E, and then that's where
it was a B, exactly.
And that's where the little B icon comes from.
Exactly.
Which has become very recognizable.
Absolutely.
I think the B can replace you on social media. I think this is a good plan.
We have the same glasses.
Exactly. I think this is a good plan.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Honey Nut Cheerios bee, the smartBeemo.
We should take more advantage of the bee. I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was born here in this show, people, okay? Talk to me, Michele, about the difference between launching a startup in Latin America versus launching a startup in the United States. The good, the bad, the ugly.
In Latin America, you don't have that competition that you have in the States. I mean, in our case, it's a little bit different because we are we see, as I said, the Latino community in Latin America and Hispanic as a whole community. But obviously, I have experience trying to sell here in English with the agency,
right?
And trying to sell to American clients and corporate businesses and stuff. I would tell entrepreneurs to never underestimate the counterpart of the huge opportunity, because everybody see the U.S. as a huge opportunity because it's huge and consumption is huge and stuff, but competition is huge. You know what I mean? And you need to be prepared, to be able to tackle an American market, because believe me, people here are very, very competitive. Very competitive. I mean, very good talent. I mean, this is the main country. This is a huge country. But obviously, if you compare it to Latin America, then when I would say in Spanish, I would always say that sometimes in Latin America, not always, because there's a lot of opportunities, you can jump and you can hit the roof. Here, there's no limits. Okay, so if you are prepared, to compete in this market, then you can build something huge here. And Latinos, we do have some things that gringos don't. We are creative. We are, in Spanish, we say echados pa'lante. We're very recursivos, okay? Because we were born in environments that weren't easy, So we had to figure out how to do things in a different way. If we use that in our favor for the States, we can stand out.
And you're doing it. Me ha encantado hablar contigo, Michelle.
Igual.
Are you ready for our Latino lightning round, which is how we finish every show?
I am.
Yeah, I can see you're ready.
Always.
¿Estás listo?
Sí.
Okay. Bueno, I'm going to ask you a question. You have to respond with the first thing that comes to mind, okay?
Wow. Okay.
Tell me one word that you think best describes your entrepreneurial journey.
Determination.
Which trend, country, or industry in Latam are you most excited about these days?
E-commerce.
Of course. Who in the business world inspires you the most?
Simón Borrero.
Okay. Futuro invitado al programa.
Por favor.
If you could solve one problem in Latin America with the snap of your fingers, what would that be?
Digital gap.
The digital gap. You already said one of these. I'm going to challenge you to give me another. What is one of your favorite Latin American sayings?
Sayings?
Sayings.
Con toda.
Con toda.
Yeah.
Means
I love it. I actually have contoda.com.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
E-commerce, of course you do. What would be the translation for con toda for English?
With everything.
Give it all you got. Maybe give it all you got.
Yeah, like you can do it. Like
Con toda.
Yeah.
It's actually good for our English speakers. Con toda. Something you can learn here.
Sometimes I'm joking, I say it in English, with everything, let's do it. It's not the right translation, but.
Give it all you got. Me gusta. Con toda. And it's also very Colombian, I have to say. Last question. Your top Latin American song to blast at the end of a stressful day?
Okay, I don't know, but I like boleros.
Out of all the genres, that's the last thing that I would have expected you to say.
I love boleros, yeah. I love Jose Jose, Hermano Manzanero.
So you're a romantic at heart.
I am. Yeah, I think so.
Gracias a ti, Michelle.
Thank you.
We're going to go listen to some boleros right now.
Yeah.